My name is Steve, and I make deco lessons with paper. After an entire year of screaming into the void, or more accurately, just posting photos to an empty internet, I finally landed on a real commission. The secret to my newfound success? A project I built that apparently didn't look like a crumbled trash pile. Apparently, that counts as professional validation. Every epic build starts the same way, with a mannequin head. To kick things off, I begin laying paper strips, using plenty of tape to secure the structure, twisting and bunching the paper to inject some much needed volume. To get that iconic look, I meticulously braid 3 separate strands of paper. Once that's glued on, I shrivel up some scrap paper to form a decorative tip for the braid. By now, the thumbnail likely spoiled the surprise, but I'm going to introduce her anyway, because I love the sound of my own voice. We are crafting Katara from Avatar, The Last Airbender. For the uninitiated, she's a legendary water tribe teen who basically kept the whole gang's emotional stability intact while Aang learned how to be the savior of the world. She's compassionate and fearlessly determined. Now, I'm not just making any version of Katara. I'm tackling the design from the leaked images of the ill-fated big-budget movie that allegedly cost Paramount Studio a fortune. The level of detail on this version makes the original cartoon look like a rough sketch on a napkin, which is a great way to ensure I spend 3 extra weeks stressing over tiny folds. Speaking of stress, the fingers. My first attempt at sculpting hands ended in a disaster. Defeated, I retreated to my primitive methods. Cutting strips of tape, laying them onto more tape, trimming them down, and gluing them into place, one by one. It's not elegant, it's not high-tech, but it works. With the foundation set, it's time to dress our waterbender. I start by draping the initial layer of fabric around the shoulders. I measure, cut, and carefully bridge each piece across the frame, pressing firmly to mimic that natural drape of real cloth. To sell the illusion, I add extra tape to the midsection, sculpting deliberate folds and creases before blending it all into a seamless unit. A light coat of glue acts as a safety net, locking in the progress so the whole thing doesn't decide to spontaneously disassemble itself. Now, here's a little secret from my workbench. My sewing is actually just a balancing act of adhesives. To differentiate textures, I treat my tape like a loom. For the bow dies, I keep things lightweight, using only 2 or 3 layers of tape to maintain a thinner, more flexible silhouette. As I move towards the lower half, I scale up to 5 or even 10 layers. This creates a sturdier, heavier structure that hangs just right. For the signature fur trim, I had to get a little creative. I took thin strips of tape and used the blade of my scissors to chip and fray the edges. I created jagged, fibrous texture that, once glued into place, looks surprisingly cozy. With the main structure done, I turn my attention to the midsection. This involves carefully laying down individual strands of tape to map out that specific intricate pattern. After getting the alignment just right, I encase the entire section in a final layer of tape. Then with a tool, I poked into the surface to crisp up the details. I even managed to craft those tiny hanging fabric bits, held in place by tiny buttons. With the arms finished and the final details finalized, it's time for the shoes. Wrapping paper and tape, I construct a sturdy cone. After a quick will it fit check, I glue the cone to the base. To turn the basic cones into authentic footwear, I cut out specific patterns for the boots, laying them on and sealing the back seam. Another pass of tape wraps the entire assembly, smoothing out the edges. I outline the seam details and then, using thicker sheets of tape, I build up the outsole and the heel. A bit of trimming to remove the excess, and voila, the boots are officially ready. Now I can't let her go without a signature accessory. The base? I repurpose an old cream container lid, sealing it in a slit layer of tape. With the structure finally complete, it's time to paint. I start with a base coat of white, then coated the hair and the fur trim in black. A layering of a rich deep brown over the hair to capture that perfect brunette look, while her face, arms and boots, and the corset thingy receive a lighter shade of brown, a deep moody blue for the pants, and then it's time to tackle the face. Painting in the white eyes, blue irises, dark brown pupils, and a tiny dab of white to give her life. After tidying up the brows and the lashes, I added a pop of blue to her hair accessories and carefully dotted her necklace with white and blue. To add some depth, I dry brushed the pants with lighter tones. Now, in a tragic turn of events, I somehow deleted the footage of me painting the main outfit blue. But don't worry, we're jumping straight back into the final details. Painting the light blue symbol on her garment and adding a dash of orange to the fabric dangling from her corset. To finish, I brighten up the fur trim with a clean coat of white, adding grey outlines to the boots for that extra crispness, and painting the iconic water symbol on the base. This entire endeavor took me roughly 20 hours to complete, cutting, taping, and gluing. But before I reveal the price tag, take a moment to admire the final display. It's been a long road, from a pile of paper to a fully realized waterbender. I charged €200 for this commission. No, I'm joking. I charged €60 for this commission. Now, I'm dying to know your thoughts. Is that a fair price for 20 hours of labor? Or am I undervaluing my sanity? Drop your honest take in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss my next project. Let me know what you want to see me tackle next. And until then, I'll catch you later. Cheers.